Hello everyone and welcome back to Cute Crochet. My name is Sri and in today's video I am going to show you how to make this beautiful crochet scarf. It's made using a unique crochet pattern called the moss ripple stitch. It sounds and looks really fancy, but it's just a single row repeat pattern and it's so easy to do even for beginners, and once you get the hang of it you can even do this with your eyes closed. The entire pattern is worked in the chain spaces only and not in the actual stitches, so it involves very little counting and it's very difficult to mess up. This pattern is worked entirely using single crochets, which gives it this flat dense texture, and it's also reversible and works up quicker than if it was just single crochets. It's a perfect stitch to use for blankets and scarves. It looks best when made with a variegated yarn like this or by changing colors after every few rows, though it looks good in a solid color as well. I got this really pretty variegated yarn, but I was only able to get around 210 grams of it, which ended up being the perfect amount for a good size scarf. I really wanted to use a simple stitch pattern with it, which would highlight the color of the yarn. With this yarn, it is recommended to use a 4mm hook, but when I want to make something that's soft and drapes nicely, I like to go one hook size up, and so here I am going to use a 4.5mm hook. Start by making a slip knot, and the simplest way of doing that is wrapping your yarn on your finger twice like so. Then pull the first loop over the second one and then pull the second loop up and off your finger. Insert your hook into that loop and pull tight, and that's our slip knot. Then we are going to start chaining. We are going to chain in a multiple of 19. Since I am making a scarf here, I am going to make 19 multiplied by 3, which is 57 chains. But if you want to make something larger, just take a larger multiple of 19, that's it. To chain, simply yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. Now do this again and again 57 times. While doing this, I am keeping the tension of my yarn pretty tight. Here I finished making 57 chains. Now keep in mind that this chain is a lot longer than what the final width of our piece will be. This chain here is 12.5 inches long and our final piece will end up being 7 inches, so almost half. Now we will start working into this chain. This first row will establish the pattern, and then from row 2 we will see the repeat pattern. Skip that first chain and work into the second chain from the hook. The loop on the hook does not count. Skip the first chain and make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. Insert your hook into that chain and pull up a loop. You will have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2, and that's our first single crochet. Then chain 1, skip the next chain and work a single crochet into the chain after that. Again chain 1, skip the next chain, single crochet into the next chain. Once again chain 1, skip the next chain, single crochet into the next chain. Now this is the first side of our ripple pattern. Each side will have 3 single crochets excluding the edge stitches and the peaks and the valleys. Then we are going to make our first peak. Chain 1, skip the next chain, into the next chain, single crochet, chain 2, then one more single crochet into that same chain. This is our peak. Now we are going to change directions and start going downwards. After that peak, chain 1, skip the next chain and single crochet into the next chain. Chain 1, skip the next chain, single crochet in the next chain. Again chain 1, skip the next chain, single crochet in the next chain. Here I have made the 3 single crochets we need for one side. Now I am going to make a valley. chain 1, skip the next chain, go into the next chain and pull up a loop. Then yarn over once. This step is important to keep in mind because it will make your piece truly reversible. Then skip the next 2 chains, go into the third chain and pull up a loop. You will have 4 loops on your hook like this. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. And that creates our valley opposite to our peak. And now we're going to change directions again and go back up. Chain 1, skip the next chain, then into the next chain, 1 single crochet. Chain 1, skip the next chain, 1 single crochet into the next chain. Again chain 1, skip the next chain, single crochet in the next chain. Then we are again going to make a peak. We are going to alternate between peaks and valleys after every 3 single crochets. Chain 1, skip the next chain, into the next chain, make single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Then we are going to go back down again. Chain 1, skip the next chain, single crochet in the next chain. Again chain 1, skip next chain, single crochet in next chain. Once more chain 1, skip next chain, single crochet in next chain. Then again we are going to make a valley. Chain 1, skip the next chain, go into the next chain and pull up a loop. Then yarn over. Remember this. Then skip the next 2 chains, go into the next chain and pull up a loop. You should have 4 loops on your hook always while making a valley. Then yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Chain 1, we are going to go back up again. Then skip the next chain, single crochet in the next chain and then chain 1. Repeat this 2 more times for a total of 3 single crochets per side. Then again make a peak, skip next chain, into the next chain, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Finally, we are at our last side. Chain 1, then go back down again, skip 1 chain, single crochet in the next chain. Again chain 1, skip 1 chain, single crochet in the next chain. Chain 1, skip 1 chain, single crochet in the next chain. Now I finished making the 3 single crochets for this side. Then in this row you should have 3 more chains remaining. We are going to finish this row up. Chain 1, skip the next chain and in the last 2 chains we are going to decrease. Go into the second last chain and pull up a loop. Then yarn over similar to the valleys. Then go into the last chain and pull up a loop. With 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 and that finishes up our row. You will already be able to see the zigzag ripple pattern forming. For row 2, chain 1 and turn your work. Row 2 is going to be our repeat pattern and we will repeat row 2 again and again until we have the desired length. Now skip that first decrease stitch and make a single crochet into the first chain 1 space. Chain 1, skip the next single crochet and 1 single crochet into the next chain 1 space. Again chain 1, skip the next single crochet into the next chain 1 space. Once again chain 1, skip the next single crochet into the next chain 1 space. Now we have finished making the 3 single crochets we need for one side, excluding that first single crochet we made. Again chain 1 as a spacer. Then into the chain 2 space of the peak we are going to make another peak, which is single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. After the peak, we will change directions and go downwards. Chain 1 as a spacer. On this side, again we will have 3 single crochets. Skip the next single crochet and single crochet into the next chain 1 space. Chain 1, single crochet into the next chain 1 space. Chain 1, single crochet into the next chain 1 space. Now we have reached our valley. On top of this valley, we will make another valley. Chain 1, then go into the chain 1 space before the valley and pull up a loop. Then always remember to yarn over once. Then go into the chain 1 space after the valley and pull up a loop. As always, you will have 4 loops on your hook when making a valley. Yarn over and pull through all 4, and that creates our valley stitch. Chain 1. Now we will change directions again and go upwards. On this side, again 3 single crochets. Single crochet into the next chain 1 space. Now chain 1 and single crochet into the next 2 chain 1 spaces. Chain 1. Again we have reached a peak. Into that peak, again make a peak, which is single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Now we will go back down again. Chain 1 and single crochet into the next 3 chain 1 spaces. Again we have reached another valley. Chain 1. On top of that valley, we will make another valley. Go into the chain 1 space before the valley and pull up a loop. Then yarn over once. Go into the chain 1 space after the valley and pull up a loop. With 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4. Chain 1. Again we are going to change directions and go upwards. Single crochet, chain 1 into the next 3 chain 1 spaces. Then into the peak, again a peak. Then chain 1 single crochet into the next 3 chain 1 spaces. Chain 1. For this row, there should be one more chain 1 space and one single crochet remaining. To finish up this row, go into the next chain 1 space and pull up a loop. Then yarn over once. Then go into that last single crochet and pull up a loop. With 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4, and that finishes row 2. From row 3 onwards, every row is going to be a repetition of row 2. I'm just going to show you one more row and then you'll be good to go. Chain 1 and turn your work. Then skip that first decrease stitch and single crochet into that first chain 1 space. Then chain 1 and single crochet into the next 3 chain 1 spaces for one side. Then chain 1, peak in the next chain 2 space of the peak. A peak is single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Then chain 1, single crochet into the next 3 chain 1 spaces. Then chain 1, valley on top of that valley. Go in through the chain space before the valley and pull up a loop. Then yarn over. Go in through the chain space after the valley and pull up a loop. With 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4. Again, chain 1 and single crochet into the next 3 chain 1 spaces. Then chain 1, peek into the chain 2 space of the peak. Again, chain 1 and single crochet into the next 3 chain 1 spaces. Then chain 1, valley on top of the valley. Again, chain 1 and single crochet into the next 3 chain 1 spaces. Chain 1, peek in the peak. Again, chain 1 and single crochet into the next 3 chain 1 spaces. Then chain 1, go in through the last chain 1 space and pull up a loop. Then yarn over, go in through the last single crochet and pull up a loop. With 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4, and that finishes row 3. Now repeat row 2 again and again until your piece is long enough. I am going to finish my scarf like this and then I am going to meet back up with you. Here I finished making my scarf. It's 73 inches long and 7 inches wide. Anything above 70 inches for the length is good enough. I didn't have enough yarn left to complete one more row, so I had to fasten off at this point. To fasten off, chain 1 and then cut the excess yarn, leaving a long enough tail for weaving in. To weave this yarn tail in, I am using a smaller crochet hook. Go under a couple of stitches and then pull that yarn tail through. I will repeat the same thing for the tail on the other side of the scarf as well. And that's it. I chose not to add tassels to my scarf, but if you want, you can add tassels to each one of these points. To see how to add tassels, you can watch any of my other scarf videos. I will leave them in the descriptions. I hope you guys like this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.